You are listening to Passport Talks, a podcast on how to become a true cosmopolitan, how to travel the world without visas, create a safe haven for your family, and access top-notch education and healthcare with a second passport or residency.
How to obtain a Uruguay residence permit by investment. Uruguay blends Latino and European cultures, influenced by a diverse expat community. Wealthy foreigners get legal residency by investing $100,000 in Uruguay's economy. Investors can also secure a visa as financially independent individuals with a stable income of $1,500. Stay tuned to explore Uruguay's residence permits, their benefits and disadvantages. 5 benefits of getting a residence permit in Uruguay. 1. Citizenship prospects. Married couples can apply for Uruguay citizenship in 3 years and singles in 5, with a condition of not spending more than 6 months abroad during this period. The Uruguayan passport offers visa-free travel to 150-plus countries. 2. Living and working in Uruguay. Families can gain residence altogether. Individuals over 18 with permanent residence can work, and tax residents can start businesses in Uruguay. Duty-free import of personal belongings to Uruguay is allowed for new residents. 3. Access to healthcare. Legal residents enjoy healthcare rights with a local identification card, choosing from public, private, or employer-funded plans. 4. Expat-friendly environment. Uruguay offers easy access to banking, property, and no language discrimination. Applications for permanent residency are generally accepted. 5. Strong economy and safety. Uruguay's strong economy, comparable to some European countries, offers a 15% lower cost of living than European capitals. It ranks 50th in the Global Peace Index, making it one of South America's safest countries. Disadvantages of becoming a Uruguay resident. Permanent residency timeline. It can take 4 to 12 months to obtain permanent residence in Uruguay, depending on immigration center processing times. Living in the country is required. Applicants must demonstrate their intent to reside in Uruguay by spending about 9 out of 12 months per year in the country during the application process. However, once permanent residence is granted, living in Uruguay becomes optional. Re-entry fee. Applicants need to pay a re-entry permit fee of around $40 each time they leave the country while their application is pending. In-person application. Residence permit and citizenship applications must be submitted in person in Uruguay. Additionally, spending more than 3 years abroad can lead to the revocation of permanent residence. How to get a Uruguay residence permit through tax residency. Tax residency, often called the Uruguay Golden Visa, differs from legal residency and is demonstrated through a tax resident certificate. To become a tax resident in Uruguay, one must fulfill one of the following conditions. Invest at least $510,000 in real estate and spend at least 60 days a year in Uruguay. Invest at least $2,180,000 in real estate without the 60-day requirement. Invest at least $2,180,000 in a Uruguayan company, creating 15 full-time jobs. Invest at least $6,530,000 in a Uruguayan company of national interest. Generating a higher income in Uruguay than any other country, excluding passive income. Spend at least 183 days a year in Uruguay, with allowances for short-term necessary travel abroad. Establish and prove vital interests in Uruguay. Tax residency must be reaffirmed annually, offering flexibility to choose different qualifying criteria each year. Existing tax residents can extend their residency for 5 additional years by investing $510,000 in Uruguayan real estate. It only applies to applicants whose first residence permit is no older than 5 years. The benefits of tax residency in Uruguay include the following. 1. An 11-year tax holiday on foreign income. 2. Starting with the 12th year, only interests and dividends of the foreign income are taxed at 12%. 3. As an alternative to the tax holiday, residents can pay 7% of the tax for 2 taxed options during an unlimited period. 4. No taxation on rental income or capital gains. 5. No property tax on foreign assets. 6. Uruguay's corporate tax rate is 25%, with double taxation agreements and tax credits for overseas payments to avoid double taxation. 4 other ways to obtain residency in Uruguay. Uruguay offers legal and tax residency options, each with its distinct criteria. Let's focus on the paths to legal residency. 1. Company registration residency. Entrepreneurs can obtain a 2-year residence permit by registering a company in Uruguay. This can be extended for 2 years if the company remains active. Required documents include a certified company registration confirmation and tax certificate. 2. Rentier visa. Foreigners with a stable passive income of at least $1,500 per month from sources outside Uruguay can apply for a rentier visa. While visa holders cannot work in the country, they can achieve permanent residence in 2 years. The application fee is $10,000 plus $2,000 for each dependent included. 3. Financially independent individuals can relocate to Uruguay under a retiree program. Requirements include demonstrating a monthly income of at least $1,500 or investing at least $100,000 in real estate or government securities. These assets cannot be sold for 10 years to maintain the residence permit. 4. Digital nomads can spend up to 12 months in Uruguay. They start with a tourist visa and apply for a digital nomad visa by confirming their income and completing an online form. Initially issued for 6 months, it can be extended for another 6 months or converted into permanent residence. Step-by-step procedure for getting Uruguay residency. Acquiring permanent residency in Uruguay is a straightforward process, often taking up to 12 months with minimal delays or rejections. Immigrant Invest lawyers guide you through the steps. 1. Due diligence check, 1 day. Lawyers perform a preliminary check using only your passport to identify risks and reduce the chances of residence permit refusal. 2. Getting a visa to Uruguay, up to 1 month. Obtain a visa, usually a tourist visa, to enter Uruguay. Some countries have visa-free agreements with Uruguay. 3. Document collection, apostille and translation, up to 1 month. Lawyers prepare the necessary documents based on your chosen residence permit type, such as proof of income and real estate ownership. 4. Booking a medical examination, 1 day. Schedule an examination at a certified private clinic to provide proof of good health. 5. Submitting the application, 1 week. Immigrant Invest lawyers assist in submitting your documents in person at Uruguay's National Migration Office. Both parents must be present if children are included in the application. 6. Getting temporary residence cards, at least 10 days. While the application is processed, all applicants receive temporary residence cards valid for 2 years. Permanent residence can be granted within 10 days after applying. 7. Obtaining permanent residence up to 8 months. Once approved, investors and their families receive permanent residence permit cards in up to 8 months, although rare cases may take up to 1 year. Uruguay citizenship for investors. Residents can apply for citizenship in 3 years if a married couple or 5 years if single. The term starts from the day they acquire a residence permit in Uruguay. The application process requires a visit to Uruguay and personal submission of documents. The Uruguayan passport is obtained in 4 or more months. Necessary documents include a birth certificate, proof of entry, a lease agreement or a property ownership certificate, proof of identity, bank statements, and evidence of any commercial activity or employment in Uruguay. Other documents demonstrating integration into Uruguayan society, such as local culture, club memberships, or proof of national health insurance, also qualify. The applicant's identity must be verified by Uruguayans who have interacted with them for 3 or more years. Relatives, lawyers, or non-Uruguayan nationals cannot provide this verification. That's it for this episode about Uruguay residency. Visit immigrantinvest.com for detailed information about it and other countries for second residency and citizenship, or book a meeting with Immigrant Invest lawyers who can help answer tricky questions. Take the next step towards your global opportunities and secure your future with Immigrant Invest. And see you in the next episodes of Passport Talks.
You are listening to Passport Talks, a podcast on how to become a true cosmopolitan, how to travel the world without visas, create a safe haven for your family, and access top-notch education and healthcare with a second passport or residency.